So greetings from New Jersey. I came back yesterday from, I went up to Stuyvesant Falls, which I once took off the sty and called it Basant Falls. I used to live there, and Satsvarup Maharaj has his summer festival, and thinking that this may be his last, I made sure to somehow get up there. And it may well be. He wasn't able to speak. He just listened for about 40 minutes and then had to leave. I guess 85. The body's like an old car. But he looked brilliant, and it was just great to see him and see the other devotees. Now, I don't know, you're like, somehow it's so your memory in this Kali Yuga. I'm not Shrutidhara. Lord Chaitanya was Shrutidhara. Shrutidhara means you hold Dhara, Dhanurdhara, holder of the bow, Shrutidhara, holder with the ears, Venudhara, holder of the flute, Sridhar, holder of beauty, Haladhar, holder of the club. So Shrutidhara means hold by your hearings. The opposite is in one ear and out the other. And there were such things that there may be even in India to this day. They would know thousands of books by heart. But Kali Yuga is Prayenalpa Yasha Shubha Kalavas Min Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Mateo Manda Bhago Upadruta. Kali Yuga means everything is diminished. And it'll be diminished further and further. After I wrote that article on AI and I forgot, the AI and the destruction of Vaishnav learning, and the more we depend externally on things to do the work of the brain, it's just like exercise, it becomes weaker and weaker. So, I comment, what the hell did I just read? Where are we up to? I don't remember where we're up to sometimes. I don't remember what we did. So I think it's always good to go back and put it in context. And context is essential for understanding things, because things are spoken in context. And unless you understand the context, you won't understand particularly what's being spoken. Okay, we'll go back. Hopefully take me 2 minutes. Tasya Parama Dasha Antim, this topmost thing, Sanatana Goswami is giving it. And he explains it in 2 ways. One, the first book is by the people who are the topmost recipients of Krishna's mercy. And the second book by the place which is where those people live. And it's just so important when you understand things from different angles. The example is like an axe. When it's hit from different sides, it becomes sharp. Now, remember how this story of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta began. When Marge Prickett began to describe it, it was in Prayag, and people were saying, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. It was Kumbh Mela, and they just bathed in the Ganga. I've done that in the Saraswati, the Triveni, the 3 rivers. I've done that, and the surcharge is amazing of devotion. And so when you really somehow can connect with God, Bhakti means to connect with God. To connect with God, the prayojan is not connecting, is to feeling God, because we have a relationship with God. That's the goal. And that's where God has put the highest pleasure, in that connection. And it's hard for us because we don't have attention. Without attention, perception is based on attention. I mentioned it's based on attitude. It's based on understanding. It's based on the mercy of God. But when you have pure perception that there's God and you're able to perceive God, and perceiving a person means perceiving your relationship with him. If you see a person as your father and you don't understand he's your father and that you don't really perceive the person. So that perception is actually the goal of life. And therefore, what's the ultimate reality? It's that feeling. Rasa vai saha. He is that elevated conception of that height of love and feeling. So sometimes in spiritual life, we get that because that's the goal. The goal is that feeling. And the way you do it is you focus your attention on God in the various manners, especially in terms of the holy name, especially in terms of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, especially in relationship with God's holy Dham, especially in relationship to the form of the deity. One other that I didn't mention, but and the Vaishnavas, to somehow how feel that aparad, it turns you away from that concentration, that feeling. Of course, we cannot turn away from God physically because He's Brahmeti, Paramatmi. It's Vedanta Tat, Tattva Vidas, Tattva Yaj Jnanam Advayam. He is consciousness, which is inclusive of everything. So you can only turn away from God in your consciousness, in your attitude. And you can only connect with God in terms of your attitude. And the right attitude is called faith. I trust, I believe, I've experienced. And it's not black or white, it's a development of this, and a development of this faith. And the whole world is doing a song and dance around us. Oh my God. So many misconceptions, so many anarthas, so many things. This is what karma is. Karma is God doing a song and dance around us to speak loudly and get us to understand things that we somehow can't comprehend if they're just told to us. So this whole plan. And so these sages, the bath, the purity of their heart, they're seeing the deity, they're with the devotees, they're chanting God's names, and that desire for devotion is welling in their heart, and that clarity of consciousness creates this humility, because when the consciousness is clear, the imperfections become more prominent. That's one way to look at it. So they're saying, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna mercy. No, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna mercy. No, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And then Narada saw someone, and he went to look for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And when he found it, he went back and told them. The topmost recipient of Krishna's mercies, if those who are their Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, the form of God they worship, is Krishna, and you have some Bandha Vishesh Gyan, you have a relationship with him, and that's what Lord Chaitanya came to give after how long? Billions of years. Anarpita, never before given. Charim Charat, for a long time. Kurunyāvatalo, by mercy, at Om Bhakti, he's given. And then that book finishes, and the second book begins with Uttara's inquiry. She wants to know about the place, And Parikshit Maharaj said, I can tell you about that place. I can quote, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Sadharma Samstapako. I can tell you about that place. I can give the Shastra, I can give references. But somehow or other, I think your heart will be touched by this story. There's a story that illustrates it. Stories are very wonderful. They're kind of, in terms of philosophy, because stories engage your mind and they open your heart in a way that the philosophy can put in. I was just thinking the Gita. The Gita was just spoken as philosophy. It may not have been as attentively received if it wasn't put in the philosophy, if it wasn't put in story form. Remember, the Gita is part of the Mahabharata. There's a whole story, and the whole story is made to make you focus on that. What did my sons do and the sons of Pandu do? Being desirous to fort. Bhishma, Drona, Vamukata. Bhishma comes and Krishna brings the chariot, Senior Ubayor Madhye, in the midst of the warriors, he brings the chariot. And the only mundane example I can get, when I was young, either going to Coney Island or Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach is also in Brooklyn. And you're on that beach and you hear fight, fight, fight. And the whole beach is moving to the side. So the Mahabharata is like that, fight, 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 and we all start running. What's happening? Everybody's focusing on this. So you put it in story. You put it in story, and then the message comes within that story. So he told that story of a Brahmin who got a mantra. And then there's an interesting thing that I think we're supposed to understand, and I'm trying to understand, that he gets the mantra. Now, I've been studying, if any wanted, I can give it to you, Bhakti-Vigyan Swami's, I think sponsored by the Bhaktivedanta Institute. Bhakti-Vigyan Swami's analysis overview of the Bhagavatam. The introduction itself is five, 6 chapters. He just gives all the background. What is this Bhagavatam? And then these 4 things, it's called Chatur Anubhasya. I think I remember it. There are 4 things that every Shastra may have. Every Shastra may have. They're interpreted in different ways. I was on the phone, I caught up maybe after a long time, maybe after a year, with Mahamuni Das, Professor Matthew Dasty. Great resource. He's got his PhD in Nyaya, logic. And we were talking, and I sent him my next Monday morning greetings, which you will get on Monday morning, called the potency to resolve all, his potency that resolves all contradictions. His potency, God. There's actually a Sanskrit term for that, and it's based on this little short, long paragraph by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, talking about the potency that resolves all contradictions. And I had him look at it. He said it's reasonable. He said, because logic in Indian philosophy is based on cause and effect, but in Nyaya there's different ways, different logic, whatever the case. So he thought it was okay. But we are talking about this Chatur Anubhasya. There's 4 things. There's a subject, then there's Sambandha, Abhideya, and Priyojana. There's all Shastra, he said, has that. He said, but it's not always defined as the way we define it. the way Lord Chaitanya defines it, he said. But anyway, but basically, there's a subject, and then Sambandha. I'm going to lose track. I'll say it. If I have to go, I'll go back, but I'll say it. I'm losing track. Sambandha means Sambandha, Vachika, Vacha. There's an object and expression. Oh yeah, and I remember how this is going to be. And it's relevant to what we're saying. So that there's an expression and there's an object. And Sambandha means, how do you know really what that subject is? There's a subject, but how will you know that subject? How will you know that subject? The subject is reality. Is just what is reality. How will you actually know that subject? Know what it is. How will you know what that subject is? And there's two ways: is intellectual and it's revealed. So he said the main way we know the subject is it's revealed by the object is revealed by the words that express that object. It's like chanting Hare Krishna. It's a reality. It's God. How is it revealed? It's not just intellectually. It's revealed by the sound vibration. So that's the main way it's revealed. But there's also some understanding. And I look at it this way. It's just like the Bhagavatam. The message is Krishna. So you have to have some intellectual understanding, understand what the message is. But the full revelation of the message will be by the message itself, beyond the intellect. Prabhupada put it so beautifully. He says it's not just an intellectual process, but it's not either the guru puts his hand on the disciples and there's an electric shock. But it's kind of like the intelligence used in Krishna's service, and then it's revealed. And I'm mentioning this because the story is about a Brahmin, we know, who gets a mantra, but he doesn't have the understanding. So you see the potency of the mantra. It's very potent, that mantra, but he doesn't have education. So we can see it doesn't carry one to one's destination if you don't really have that type of understanding of it, the intellectual understanding of it. But he's getting it, and we can see this kind of tension, because first we'll see this Brahmin. The mantra is just giving him faith, giving him an experience. He can't really conceptualize it, but it becomes his goal, and he's feeling it, and he's searching for it. And of course, that search reveals, in a beautiful way by Sanatana Goswami, reveals the story, because it's going to carry him to higher and higher realms until he meets a realm and an environment that is commensurate with the mantra he got, which is the mantra of the highest reality, which is the Gopal mantra, Madan Gopal mantra. So it's carrying him there. But so we know it carries him until, somehow it carries him to Braj. He has a whole story of, it carries him to the Ganga, it carries him to this king, carries to Jagannath, and it's always the same thing. And I think it's revealed very well in this purport. Since Gopkumar was destined to enjoy even more of the Lord's mercy elsewhere, circumstances changed so much he became less interested in staying in Swargaloka. So that's the thing. There's something more. He's enjoying, he's appreciating, but there's something more. and actually feeling and knowing there's something more, he never becomes satisfied where he is in terms of mercy and kindness that he's feeling. Because there's something more that's more congruent with what the nature of his soul is. Now, very interesting thing, I've told you, I have the fortune, myself and Dhanurdhara Swami, every day. Even yesterday, I had to leave early. It's usually at 9:30, then I had it at 2 in the morning. I don't miss it. And we're discussing very interesting subject matters. But he brought up a point that it was about Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, which he studied very, very thoroughly. This came out by listening to Bhaktivedanta Goswami. It's very, very interesting. Sanatana Goswami wrote a purport on his own book. No one writes it. They don't write commentaries on their own book. It's very rare. You don't write commentaries on your own book. So he wrote a commentary on his book because he said, I didn't write the book. Krishna wrote the book. Prabhupada said that too. And this is the experience of revelation. This experience of revelation, a lot of our understanding, the clarity of our thought, it comes from revelation. So there's such a revelation in that sound vibration. So he's chanting his mantra seriously. I'm repeating things that I repeated before, but we'll get up and we'll go something new. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't remember. And that's the whole point. Vyas may know, Sukadev may know, he may not know. Because things are coming from one. Sarvesya chaham hidisani vishto matasmitir jnanam apo. I am situated in everyone's heart, and for me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. So things come. Those are the things you don't remember. You haven't studied them, it's coming. Things are coming. So Sanatana Goswami, he prayed, it was just flowing. I may know this, I may not know this. It's not from my intellectual conception, it's coming from God. I may know, I may not know. So he wrote extensive purports from a certain platform. So anyway, that Brahmin winds up and he meets Gop Kumar, and that's another point, the transcendental system. God has a plan to bring us back to Godhead. And everything that happens is for us, to teach us a lesson, to bring us closer there. This is something that's coming up, that makes that lesson worth it. This pearl analogy, if the wounds create the pearl, if the pearl's precious, the wound's precious. So somehow or other, there's also this theme of, because here it also says he was destined to enjoy more. He was destined. He was ready. Even Gop Kumar said, you almost completed everything. He was ready. There's another component he needed. And therefore, he needed another experience that included this kind of frustration that reveals this Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, but also solidifies his understanding and appreciation of what eventually he gets. So you'll see, the mantra is saying more, and the deity is saying enough. The mantra is saying more, so this is happening to him. This is happening to him. But there's another thing that we see. If you look at the first book of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta that we study, we didn't study all the personalities because I don't know if I say I got bored with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, like skip to the end, but that's my own weakness. But the first people are the Brahmin, the king, Indra, Brahmin, Lord Shiva, all fabulously wealthy. And what happens here? He became the king of a district. He became the he became the king of Puri. Now he became the king of Swargaloka. It really is important to demonstrate two things: that those are not the goals, and those are the things that will make us happy, but those are the things we want. So we have the wrong faith. We're instilled with the wrong faith. This is our experience. This is our goal. This is what we want. And the same thing is that real detachment is not staying aloof from objects, but being indifferent to objects. So this Gop Kumar, he's traveled, and then in that travel from being the king of a country to being the king of Puri, we see he's always not interested. Vishya vinivartante nirahasya dehana raso rajam rasopya. He has some taste that is higher. He's not interested. He really, it's not clarified yet. It's not become so fixed in his intelligence. So he gets bewildered. And then he finally, Lord Jagannath sends him back to Vrindavan, but somehow he doesn't come in the right way, and he hankers for Jagannath again. He hankers for Jagannath. And then when he was with Jagannath again, he's by this destiny, he's destined to have more mercy elsewhere. And the more mercy elsewhere is represented by that Gopal mantra. That's more mercies elsewhere is represented by the Gopal mantra. So he goes, and then he says, "No, I got to go back to see Jagannath. This is where we're up now." And Gop Kumar begins to go, and then he meets some Karma Kandas. They're worshiping, and there's something about that, and I forgot what happens, but somehow their goal is the heavenly planets, and they talk about that's actually the first thing. Now he's on his way to Jagannath Puri again. He meets these Brahmins, Satkarma, Nipano, Vipro, Mantra, Tantra, Vishara, Vaishnava, Gunasatsa. Meeting these Brahmins, very impressive, and they speak of the heavenly planets, but what attracts him there is Upendra, or Vamanadev, is there as the younger brother. So he goes there, and somehow, this is really interesting too, because, oh my God, I can not only see just the form of God, but I can see the full manifestation of God. So his mantra, whatever he desires, the mantra is fulfilling. And this is perhaps, enjoyment may also be part of the karma. Enjoy to understand that this is not the goal. It doesn't fill what the God hole in the heart, they say. It doesn't fulfill it. So that's also, the suffering is, the pleasure is, the bhoga, the moksha. It's all God's plan. So somehow or other, calls him, don't bow down. Or it's a different relationship you have, actually. Everybody's worshiping me here as God, but you're my brother. You're my friend. It's different. Don't bow down. So he's real happy to see this cowherd. He's happy to see this cowherd. You see all these points that are coming in here, that he's destined to this higher mercy. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Shishe Namaha. Namo Maha, the most mercy, is available with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's destined to enjoy it. So they come, and then what happens to Indra? I don't want to say it, but it almost appears that he forced himself upon a sage's wife. Even, my God, even in the heavenly planets, God, O Lord. And then, as usual, and this is the way the world works, he became ashamed. When you make a big mistake like that, you become ashamed and you become fearful because people are going to be after you. A sage's wife, he seduced a sage's wife. Indra went into hiding, and somehow or other, Gopakumar, again, that famous quote, when you least expect it, you're elected, you're the lucky guy. And, but then again, the mantra, enjoying more mercy, more service, more something, more my heart, elsewhere, you know, and he you know, and he was tormented. But he never gave up his japa. Because he thought, now I have God. He was thinking that way. The fruit of consciousness, that this mantra is to give me a goal. So this is Panchaposhana. You worship 5 different demigods to get the goal. And Prabhupada described it. That's the philosophy of prostitute. You have relationship for something else. And when you get something else, the relationship is over. A prostitute gets the money, the relationship is over. So he was thinking this. He was thinking, should I give this up now? I've achieved the goal. I achieved the goal. Should I give up? Should I give it up? And of course, as the King of Heaven, he was promoting devotional service, but you know, he had this bhav, and even when he was at the King of Heaven, he would stay in the Nandanandana forest in a simple way, and he thought, well, maybe I should give it my mantra. I've achieved it, but he said no, because if love is the goal and love is the process, you never give up. If love is the process and love is the goal, you never give up the process. So fear of being ungrateful, he never gave it up, not for a moment. He was not able to forget Braj. He had that spirit. But he was tormented by this pain of separation. But when the Pendra noticed that, he touched him with his lotus hands, he spoke to him faithful words, and somehow or other, he became satisfied. And it was his younger brother, and the younger brother would deal with him as an elder, and he would accept the food that he gave him just to please him. I had a friend, he was telling me how his mother drove him crazy. Every half hour she said, you haven't eaten in a while. You haven't eaten in a while. I'm not hungry now. I'm not hungry now. He's telling me, an old friend. 3 hours pass. You want me to cook something again? Are you hungry again? I'll feed you again. What do you want? He said, stop it, stop it. And then he told me, he said he's getting cremated because he's afraid that if he's buried in the family cemetery, he'd hear those voices. Are you hungry? I'm dead, Mom, I'm dead. And then he would forget the stress, the affection, pampering me. So, but then he would leave. And this is the thing, you'll read it in the next Monday morning greetings. Actually speaking, I'm inspired to give a preview here. The potency that removes all contradictions. I was driving my car in Manhattan and made a wrong turn and found myself on the 59th Street Bridge heading to Queens. I needed to get uptown Manhattan quickly for an appointment. I had no idea how to get back. This was about 30 years ago. I was concerned that I would be late. When I stopped at the end of the bridge, I therefore politely asked a worker standing there for help, "Sir, I think I'm lost." The worker was a typically gruff, what you see is what you get, just the facts New Yorker. He looked at me with disgust. You're either lost or you're not lost. Brilliant. I don't think, however, my New Yorker's friend's cold logic would fare well in the spiritual world. Quote, the Stream Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he's outside of everything. Purport, ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. Sri Upanishad, verse 5 in purport. Presently, I'm studying Krishna-katha by Shivaram Swami with a friend. Shivaram Swami provides a rendition of Krishna's pastimes. His introduction is 70 pages long and is meant to prepare the reader to hear those pastimes properly. A lot of the introduction is an attempt to resolve, at least by referencing Shastra, how Krishna leaves Vrindavan at the age of 12 and simultaneously never leaves Vrindavan. The Shastra often gives descriptions like this of the spiritual realm that are full of contradictions. But that never bothers me. I think something like this. God must exist beyond time and space. If he's subject to anything more powerful than his will and power, he is not God. Even time? Of course. But how can we logically conceive that there is something that is not limited by past, present, and future? We can't. Logic is based on the laws of cause and effect, including time and space, which are under God's jurisdiction. So it is reasonable or logical that descriptions of God and his realm are not under the laws of ordinary reason or logic. Since I understand things in that way, I was just quite pleased to read these same points in a short essay by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur titled, The Potency That Removes All Contradictions. Quote, Sri Krishna, the embodiment of eternality, absolute knowledge, and unlimited bliss, possesses an inconceivable potency called Virodha-bhunjika Shakti, removing all contradictions. By the influence of this potency, all apparently contrary principles and natures are unified and eternally present. Form and formlessness, omnipresence and localized beautiful physical presence, equal disposition to all and special favor of mercy towards his devotees, birthlessness and taking birth, being the supreme object of everyone's worship and accepting the position of a cowherd boy, omniscience and accepting the position of a human being, impersonalism and personalism, and many such unlimited contradictory characteristics are wonderfully harmonized and manifest in Sri Krishna's personalities. And furthermore, they're engaged in assisting the activities of Srimati Radhika, the embodiment of the highest spiritual emotions, and pleasure-giving potency. Those who doubt and contest this truth are truly deprived. Before one begins a debate, one must consider that human logic is very limited. Hence, it has no jurisdiction in the realm of the unlimited, inconceivable principle. The fortunate soul discards dry rhetoric and cultivates faith in the evidence of the revealed scriptures, the Vedas. The seed of faith sprouts and gradually grows into the creeper of devotion to finally rest at Sri Krishna's lotus feet. You are either lost or you're not lost. True, but not in the realm of God, where everything is ruled by love. For love, he can be gone from Vrindavan. At the same time, for love, never leave. Everything is possible by his potency that removes all contradictions. I have no idea now what my next Monday morning, I have to get an idea. So anyway, he left. And then, okay, here the purport says he also did leave. But so, tato jāyate śokas, tena nīlācala-prabhum, acalāśrita-vātsalyaṁ, draṣṭum, iccheyam, etya. And so the distress I felt would make me want to go back to see the Lord of Nīlācala, whose affection for those who take shelter of him never wavers. This Apendran goes. Jagannath is always there for his devotees. Purport. Gopkumar naturally wanted to lessen the pain he was feeling, and he thought that Lord Jagannath's love for his devotees was more certain than Lord Vishnu's in Sanga, because in Nīlācala, Lord Jagannath is always visible. Jagannath's mercy is as firm as Mount Meru. Pradurabhu tasya Vishnostu tasya tajik kripaparai adi sarvo vilayeta paschatyo pitadasaya. Still, when Vishnu would again become visible, his unique mercy in many forms would fill my heart and thoughts of him and dissolve all my mental pain, even the pain I might feel later, when I could no longer see him. Purport. Gopkumar could not simply leave heaven to come to earth and Purushottam Kshetra, because in Swaga he had special exchanges of love with Lord Vishnu that with Lord Jagannath he never known. Lord Vishnu, as Vamanadev, accepted with his own hands what Gopkumar offered in worship, and the Lord displayed exceptional sweetness, enacted various charming pastimes, and spoke nectarian words to console his devotee. All this vanquished the mental pain Gopkumar felt within from not seeing the Lord and from remembering Vrajabhumi. Even the pain he might feel later at the inevitable departure of Lord Vishnu would be overshadowed by the joy from the association he was having now. Gopkumar also hoped that although Lord Vishnu might go away for a while, he would always return. Evam nivasita tatra shaktatum adikurvata brahman samvatsara divyo mayaiko gamita sukam. O Brahmana, thus I lived in Swaga, ruling in the post of Indra, and happily spent 1 celestial year. Purport. Indra's duties included the dispensing of rain, the propagation of sacrifices and other Vedic rituals, and the maintenance and protection of the 3 planetary systems. For 1 year in the measurement of Swagaloka, equal to 360 years on earth, Gopkumar carried out these responsibilities. Akasmad agatas tatra brigu mukya maharshaya padmyam pavityutum yantas tirtani kripaya bhuvui. Once some sages arrived unexpectedly, headed by Brigu. Out of mercy, they were on their way to purify with their feet the holy places of earth. So he doesn't know why these sages come, and he realizes that Brigu is the senior, He didn't know, but he knew that they were traveling traveling to earth to purify the Ganga and holy places from the contamination brought by the sinful visitors. The sages wanted to sanctify the holy places of earth with the touch of their feet. Even though the sages, by the power of their integral words, can have sanctified the earth without leaving Mahaloka, the sight and touch of their feet would further benefit all the inhabitants of the earth. With amazement, I looked on as all the demigods and celestial sages and even their spiritual master and Lord Vishnu himself worshipped these sages reverentially. I was a new resident of Swarga, my heart distracted by the bliss of serving Lord Vishnu, so I failed to recognize the sages, but at the urging of my companions, I too worshipped them. The sages greeted me with auspicious blessings and happily went on their way, and at that moment Lord Upendra disappeared. I then inquired from the immortals of heaven. The demigods are worshipped by men, but who are these persons worshipped even by the demigods? What makes them so great? Where do these effulgent persons live? Jealous and proud, the demigods were embarrassed to tell me, but our guru then spoke. Sri Brihaspati said, it's not his initiating guru, but the guru of the demigods. Above this realm shines the world called Mahaloka, attainable through the best of pious works. Even when the three worlds are annihilated, that world is not destroyed. Millions of times greater happiness than Indra, who has millions of times greater happiness than Earth. And he begins to explain their glories. Jamunajaya, why don't you start it off if you're still here? I guess Jamunajaya is not here now. She had to go to teach. Anybody, Gail, you have a question?
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, actually, I have a few. This Shakti,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Virodha or Nirodha with a V or N.
Bhagavata Shakti, yeah.
Is with a V or N, Nirodha or Virodha?
You'll see in Monday morning greetings tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so is that the same as Krishna's Achintya Shakti? Is it the same, synonymous?
It doesn't seem to be. Achintya Shakti means his inconceivable power in general. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so, if I think
Mm-hmm.
about it. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, also, you know, I think last time we were saying that when Gopa Kumar he got to Vrindavan, right? And he left or
He
something.
left. He
Yeah,
stayed in Vrindavan for 3 verses.
yeah. And so even though he seemed to have had the right mood, we were saying that because he didn't have sufficient education or understanding, you know, he left. But I'm trying to reconcile that with the fact that, you know, Krishna says in the Gita, right? 10:10, you know, those who are dedicated to him, he gives them the understanding by which to come to me.
But then, yeah, okay, but that doesn't mean that we don't cultivate any knowledge, right? It means there's an effect when we don't have proper understanding. So that's the tension that happens here, that the worship brings him so far, and then he has misconceptions that kind of temporarily detour him from his goal.
Yeah, I just thought that, to Krishna, a person's mood would be what matters most to him, and then he would fill in the
It
blanks.
does, but the story here is, and it also happens in our life, that we have the right mood, but we have the wrong understanding. And sometimes the wrong understanding takes precedence and detours us. So we have to have both the right mood and the right understanding, and that's what this is about.
Oh yeah, speaking of mood, when you said that the mood that we should have should be one of faith, I actually it was expecting to hear humility. You know.
There's many things we need, Gail. I just was stressing one.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That story that you tell about when you got lost.
Yeah.
I always remember you saying that it was a toll collector who told you. Either
Oh,
you're
you're,
lost.
you're horrible, Gail. You're absolutely horrible. I'm going to tell you why you're horrible.
Why?
Because I've always remembered as a toll collector, and it was a toll collector, and it was a toll collector, and it was a toll collector.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain, Gail, what happened, right? So then I it went to my editor, jāyate, right? And he said that, well, there's no toll collectors on the 59th Street Bridge. I said, no, it was a toll collector, and it was a 59th Street Bridge. He said, no. He said, maybe he made some joke, by your divine revelation, there was.
Mm.
So I looked it up, and there's no tolls on the Queensboro Bridge. So I couldn't figure it out. So for the purpose of, I know it was a toll collector. Maybe it was a spurti of a toll collector. Had manifested temporarily for my pastime, but so then for the editing's sake, I put worker. So I know it was, he suggested maybe it was the RFK Triborough Bridge to Queens. Maybe it was another bridge that I turned off. But that's just that.
For
Russ
me,
is
it will
higher
always
than
be a toll
Tutva,
collector.
Gail.
Huh?
Russ is higher than Tutva. You
Yeah,
haven't.
that's why for me, it will always be a toll collector.
What? To me,
It,
it's always a toll collector too, because it's vivid in my mind. I went to the toll collector. Okay.
I believe you, Maharaj.
What?
I believe I'm going with you.
I was so disappointed. I was thinking I'd lie to everyone because he said the 59th Street tree doesn't have, but the editor said it. I was in existential crisis writing this, so I had to put it as a worker.
I think you have to call on that Virodha Bunjika Shakti or something.
No, it actually was, but in my Leela, it was a spurti. It's just like an apricot Leela, right? Everything, the demons don't live in Goloka Vrindavan. They don't live there. But for
Right.
pastimes, if they need demons, then Yoga Maya creates them, and then when the pastime is over, it's there. So it's obvious, for the sake of the pastime, Yoga Maya created a toll collector.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the pastime was finished, then it disappeared. That's obvious.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, okay, okay. Samantha, are you coming over today?
Hare Krishna. Today or tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow. Okay, today. Okay. Okay, tomorrow. What time you'll come over?
We'll figure it out. Whenever.
What? Come over at
Whenever.
3 o'clock, okay?
Okay. Oh,
Okay. She's my neighbor. She lives 10 minutes away from here. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Good morning, Maharaj.
Hey, Brahma, always great to see you.
Yeah, I got to jump off because I have a 9 o'clock call, but I love your presentation of Gopa Kumara. Connects me. Thank you very much.
Oh, great.
This call I have at 9, it will be of interest to you, so we'll talk later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you know.
Any chance you're free at 11 o'clock? 11?
Today, I'm peeking at my calendar. Let's see. Yes, I am free at 11.
Okay, call me at 11. Great to see you,
I'll
brother.
call you.
We were
Thanks.
thinking of you when we saw Satsrup March yesterday.
Oh, that visit I had was so sweet.
Well, you're lucky because he was he was completely not able to speak, literally not able to speak.
Oh,
He,
he was so animated for 3.5 hours.
he looked beautiful, but he came,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful reading of his new books, about 16 books that were reprinted or new books.
Yeah.
It was great, but he wasn't able to, he was happy to see me briefly, happy to see Jāyate Maharaj,
Yeah. Oh, good.
but it was there. Okay.
I'll
Anybody else?
catch you later.
Okay, 11 o'clock. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta here.
Boy, we'll see you at 1, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, great, great. Looking forward to it. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Thank you very much for the class.
Haribo, still in Canada, huh?
Yeah, I have to, Maharaj. I'm going to wait to see what's happening.
Any way we could get you into America?
Yeah, I wish I could, Maharaj.
We have to figure out a way. We have to figure out some way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe some Mexican cartels over the border. They closed that too now. Okay.
Yeah, we need your prayers, Maharaj. Please
My
give your
prayers.
blessing to Damien.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Who is that?
This is Kalachanji. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Haribo, where are you now?
I'm in Iowa taking a walk.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Great to
Thank
see
you.
you, Haribo.
Great class. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Nice to see you.
Maharaj, Yudhisthira, my obeisances, since all the old gods are speaking up.
Yudhisthira, let's touch base this week. You
I
free?
love it. Thank you.
Tuesday morning any time? Tuesday morning any time?
Hang on, let me tell you. Talk about multitasking.
Yeah.
Tuesday the 8th.
Yeah.
What time? 10 o'clock your time?
10 o'clock would be 10 I have a class between 9:30 and 10:30, so it can be before or
It
after.
could be before or after. It could be at 10:30ish.
Okay, 10:30
Your time, which is 9:30 my time. And
Okay.
I'll have up to 1 hour.
Okay, 10:30. See you then.
All right. Thank you, Maharaj.
I will. Good. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Govinda
And Braja, thank you for class.
for class.
We'll see you later.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be there.
Roger, I need to consult you about getting something for my trip to Russia for travel.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I only have an hour in between flights, and I think I don't
Yeah.
want to send things underneath. So I want to figure out
Right.
how to maximize. I'll talk.
Okay.
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 Very well.
Okay. Anybody else? And then we'll.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Surya Radhika here. Thanks for the class.
Where are you now in your world travels?
We're in Gainesville, back in Gainesville.
You had a nice trip?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, especially seeing you, Maharaj, it was the best part.
Wasn't that a great retreat?
It was,
People, right?
it was great. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Jayanta did a great job. How he got you in the country.
Yeah, oh my God.
It's
amazing.
It's bewildering.
Yeah.
It's how,
Mhm.
but that's great. Okay. Yeah. And somehow I think we'll probably see you in September, one way or another.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Sure. We try our best to come, yeah.
Okay, come earlier. Maybe we can even find a place for you to stay in New York or something if you talk to me before, so it's not such a good trip. Okay? Okay.
Sure, thank you, Maharaj.
Well, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna
This is
Maharaj.
Krishna-katha.
I'll see you soon, Krishna-katha. God willing. God willing.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Yvette, when are we
Hi,
supposed
it's
to
Yvette
talk?
Maharaj.
When are we supposed to talk?
Right after this.
Okay.
Right after this class.
Okay, that's it. Class is finished. I have an appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
I got to look at everybody that came today, so I see everybody that came. Okay. Haribo. Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Shaka Pasindhu Baby.